Now we're going to continue with chapter 15 for equities. And the first question here has to do with allocation of common and preferred stock based on an issuance. So we have on July 1, 2012, Knoll Company issued 2,500 shares of its 10 par common stock and 5,000 shares of its 10 par convertible preferred stock for a lump sum of 140,000. At this date, Knoll's common stock was selling for 24 per share and the convertible preferred stock was selling for 18 per share. What would the amount of the proceeds allocated to Knoll's preferred stock should be? So we have here a situation where we have an allocation, and the idea here is that first of all we have common. So how much was allocated to common here? Let's see. Common, so we have 2,500 shares of common. 2,500 shares of the common. It's selling for $24. The preferred we have 5,000 shares of preferred and selling for 24. So 5,000. So common is selling for 24. The preferred is 18. So first thing we want to do is just see what is the fair market value of each security separately in the market right after it issued. So I'm seeing here from this brief calculation that the common is worth 60,000 and the preferred is worth 90,000. So we see that it's together it's worth 150,000. Now it says here that when it was issued for 140,000. So we want to see, based on this method, how to allocate to this 140. Now these are the percentages, the true fair value percentages of this equity based on what they're trading. So logic tells us that what we do, simply take this 140,000, that was literally what we got, and we multiply it. We know that 40% of it belongs to common. It's the other 60% that belongs to preferred. So this way we see the breakdown, and we see that in reality it was issued for 140,000, but we used the percentages according to what it was actually trading for. So we're using percentages to allocate of what was actually issued. 140 was actually the issuance, and the percent is what that's the allocation of how it was trading. So to preferred, 84 went to preferred, so the answer is B. Okay, now moving on to the next one here, another equity question related that we should know for the exam. And this is good to know in general as you study for the CPA exam. Also, a lot of equity questions, very important part of the balance sheet. And specifically for this midterm, we're going to be dealing with treasury stock. Very important topic. And with treasury stock, this is a great example because it talks about the issuance of shares, the buyback of shares, and then the profiting on buying back or selling the shares that you previously bought back. So what's happening here is the Horton Company was organized on January 2nd, 2012, 500,000 authorized shares of $10 par value common stock. During 2012, Horton had the following capital transactions. So Jan 5, they issued 375 shares at 14. July 27th, they purchased 25,000 shares at 11. And November 25th, they sold 20,000 shares of treasury stock at 13 per share. So, if Horton used the cost method to record the purchase of treasury shares, what should be the balance in the paid-in capital from treasury stock account at December 31, 2012? So the idea is, what are we adding to this paid-in capital from treasury stock? So at first, what happened? We had issued we had issued 375 shares at 14. Okay, so how much cash do we have? 375,000 at 14. Okay, this is how much we're getting. Now, of that, par is going to be 10. So for each share, 375,000 shares times 10 is going to be par. And paid in capital will be the rest. Okay? Now, on July 27th, we had bought some stock back, so purchased 25,000 shares at 11. So we debit this treasury stock. This is an account that reduces your equity, and we actually spent cash on this. So we're 275 less on cash. Now, when we decided to go ahead and resell these 20,000 shares for 13, so we're getting 20 times 13 in cash, right? So it's 260,000 in cash is a debit, right? Now, they cost us, remember, they cost us 11 per share. So treasury stock we're going to debit for that cost because it was 11 per share. So we have 11 times 20,000. That was the cost of these guys. Now the rest is going to be a gain that goes into paid in capital from treasury stock. So that's 40,000. So the answer is C.